Zeus and Hades, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox. For as long as mankind has existed, there have been great rivalries, and today we're going to be talking about one of those great rivalries. It's probably the greatest rivalry in all of the Knife Kingdom, or the Knifedom. Yeah, let's go with that. I'm talking, of course, about the Leatherman Squirt PS4 and the Gerber Dime. This ongoing feud has been playing out for well over a decade, and today we're going to be comparing two multi-tools and seeing which one I believe is better and which one I carry more often. Specifically, I'll be comparing the number of tools, the quality of the tools, the ergonomics, and the overall value. But before we dive into that, if you are enjoying the content, I'd kindly ask you to pry open that like button and then cut directly into that subscription. I dream of a day where I have 1,000 subscribers, so let's make that dream a reality. I'm OT, the Lord of Knives. Let's get started. So firstly, we're going to be talking about the number of tools that these multi-tools possess, and we're going to compare the ones they have in common, and we'll talk about the ones that are unique to the Gerber Dime. So right off the bat, we have 9 tools for the Leatherman Squirt PS4, and we'll go ahead and run through them. You got the little knife blade, you got the nail file, which has a coarse and a fine side. You got the flathead screwdriver and the bottle opener, the mini flathead, or some people call it the 2D Phillips head. You got the little key ring, you have the actual pliers, then you have the wire cutter, then you got the scissors. So the Gerber Dime comes with all those same tools. That's the knife there, that's the scissors, and I honestly broke the spring because I've had this thing for like 5 or 6 years. To be honest, I don't even know how I broke the spring, and it broke like under a year of owning it. Then you got the nail file and the 2D Phillips, or the mini flathead, the flathead, and you got the bottle opener, you got the key ring, and you also got the pliers with the wire cutter at the back there. And then the additional tools that the Gerber Dime comes with is the little tweezers. These aren't the original tweezers. These are actually some Victorinox SD tweezers, but they are very similar to this, and they do have like a little gray knob, so essentially it would look almost exactly like this. I personally opt out the tweezers for a toothpick, and I never looked back because I use that toothpick more than any other of the tools on the Gerber Dime. And you have this awkward little tool here, the package opener, which I find to be quite redundant. Like if you're gonna open a package, you're most likely gonna open that package with your starting blade, or your main blade, if you will. And if this is the only knife you can carry, then that does suck for you. And if you did have to open a package with this tool, I would still most likely reach for the knife, not the designated package opener. So the Gerber Dime does have 2 more tools than the Leatherman Squirt PS4. But now let's get into the quality of tools between the two. So when comparing the knife on these two multi-tools, they're very similar in size. The Leatherman Squirt has the drop point blade and the Gerber Dime has the sheep's foot blade. I find that they're both just not very useful just because of how small they are. I can go either or. If I did have to choose one, I would probably lean a little more to the Gerber Dime, simply because it's easier to sharpen a flat grind because there's a bevel on both sides. This here is a chisel grind, so it's only ground down on one side. The other side is totally flat, which looks cool, but it's much harder to sharpen, in my opinion. So I can go either or, but I would lean a little more to the Gerber Dime on the knife. The same thing could pretty much be said about the scissors. They're just so small, and you know, I just just don't find a lot of use for them. Both scissors are pretty underwhelming, but I'd give the edge to the Leatherman Squirt PS4 simply because it's still standing. So the file on the Leatherman Squirt PS4 is pretty good. It's got some decent bite in it, and the core side's pretty good. You can actually file some stuff with this because it actually gives you a good amount of space, whereas the Gerber Dime, it's not even half an inch of a file, and the keyring gets in the way of the other side, so it's very useless in my opinion. And the bottle cap lifter gets in the way, so you'd have to actually open the tool. So the 2D Phillips or the mini flathead is actually quite useful for both of these multi-tools. You can screw on like little screws for your glasses, or just any tiny little screw. I think this thing just works really well. They both perform quite similarly in that task. I couldn't really say which one performs better. So then we got the regular flathead. They both perform quite similarly. Couldn't really tell you which one performs better. Then we got this bottle opener for the Leatherman Squirt, which I can honestly say is the worst bottle opener I've ever used for any multi-tool or any tool really. This thing really struggles with bottles. And the exact opposite can be said about the Gerber Dime. This is like the best bottle cap opener for any of my multi-tools. For many years I've worked as a bartender and I've opened many bottles in my life, and this is probably the best bottle opener for any multi-tool. I enjoy opening bottles with this tool. So then we got the keyring, which I kind of feel like is just a little awkward with that Gerber Dime. It's just hard to get at, and it's kind of like tucked under the scale of this Gerber Dime. It does not move or rotate. This keyring does retract, like so. It's quite hard to get out. You need to open up the knife, get like some tweezers or something, and boom. That's how you get it out. So the keyring, I feel like, is much better for the Leatherman Squirt. So the Gerber Dime does have two additional tools. You have the package opener, which I said earlier, I feel is quite redundant. Then you got the little tweezers there. Mind you, these ones are not the tweezers that come with this Gerber Dime. These come from a Victorinox SD. So now let's talk about the ergonomics for both of these multi-tools, which honestly feels like the same. This one's a little better to handle because it's just rounded over here and rounded down there. So it's slightly better ergonomics. But this cap lifter gives you more purchase on the knife. Like I can pretty much get like 3 fingers down, but then again, this thing is just so small. They're both just so small that the ergonomics are just not really that good for both multi-tools because they're just so small. Now the ergonomics when you have the pliers out, you just don't get any really hot spots with the Leatherman Squirt. It just feels really good in the hand. You don't really get any hot spots with this one as well. The main concern I have with the ergonomics for the Gerber Dime is sometimes right here, that will pinch your skin, which does kind of hurt. But then to unpinch your skin, you actually have to open the knife, which like really bears down on your skin, and it actually hurts quite a bit. So the point of ergonomics for any tool is to not harm the user when they're using the tool. And this sometimes will pinch on your skin and it does hurt quite a bit. But other than that, I would say the ergonomics for the Leatherman Squirt is just a tiny bit better. So according to Blade HQ, the Leatherman Squirt PS4 is priced at $39.95 and the Gerber Dime is priced at $19.95. So for half of the price, you get more multi-tools and very comparable capability with the Gerber Dime. So I do believe it does have a better value, but part of the reason for that price discrepancy is the name of Leatherman. They are the gold standard of multi-tools. They're the ones who created the multi-tools in the first place. So they pretty much perfected them at this point, which is why you're paying twice as much, but also why the tool quality is much better on the Leatherman Squirt. The tools are just a little more precise and just have a better quality of construction than the Gerber Dime. In conclusion, the Gerber Dime has more tools and a better value, but when asking the question, which is the better multi-tool, it's got to be the Leatherman Squirt PS4, simply because it has better tools and the ergonomics are slightly better. Regardless of cost and the amount of tools, the Leatherman Squirt is going to perform better at these small tasks than the Gerber Dime. Well, with all that being said, which one of these two multi-tools gets more pocket time from me? I'd honestly have to say the Gerber Dime, and here's why. The knives on both of these multi-tools are just not good. When compared to my other secondary knives like my Victorinox knives or my case knives, they just perform very poorly. They're so small and awkward that they just both are not very useful to me. The same could be said for the scissors. I just think that these are some of the worst scissors ever, especially the Gerber Dime. They didn't even last a year for me, so that's not good at all. So what am I using these multi-tools for? The pliers and the bottle opener. The pliers on both of these are very comparable. I'd give the slight edge to the Leatherman, but I'm not pushing these tools to the limit. I'm using them for getting a small hook out of a small fish's mouth or snipping a small wire. In these cases, they both perform pretty much the same. So that leaves the bottle opener. The Leatherman Squirt PS4 has the worst bottle opener I've ever used. It literally cuts the bottle cap, and the Gerber Dime has the best bottle opener out of any multi-tools. So the pliers are like the same. The Gerber has a 20 times better bottle opener, and I use the toothpick on this more than any other tool. It's almost a necessity for me, which is the main deciding factor between the two. But tell me down in the comments which one you think is better or which one you carry more. Tell me if I miss any important points about these two multi-tools, or if you have any alternatives to the Leatherman Squirt PS4 or the Gerber Dime. I'd love to check them out. Let's talk knives. But remember folks, you can catch more knives with honey than you can with vinegar. I'm OT, the Lord of Knives. Stay sharp.